was a refreshing time with Brian there, and at least he brought us into some. You know, sometimes why I love to have these guys to come is that when we are doing something locally here, we just want to be sure that what we are doing is in alignment with global best practice. And evidently, Nigeria pest control industry has been really doing well. Evidently, everything is said, this is what we've been practicing. That means we are actually in line with the global trend, global best practices. Very soon, we are going to face out all those guys that call fumigators, sprayers on the street, carrying pump. It's a professional business and organized, so we need to make it so. We need to make it so. Now we're going to be having now I'm introducing our very own Pest Control Prof, Chux Nwosu. He's going to be taking a course on principles of vector control and integrated pest management. This is a course that you'll be looking forward to. Every of these modules is charged and loaded, and I really want you to pay attention. He's going to be sharing his slide. He will also make the slide available for us to go through later after the training. But please look at your screen, enjoy the session, write down your questions after the training. It's only a 40-minute session. You can have a question and answer, and then we still have 2 facilitators after that. So keep relaxed, get some tea, coffee, water, and get the bed. Pest Control Prof, over to you. Welcome, Prof.
Yeah. I hope I'm audible enough.
Very well.
Okay, it's a pleasure to be here this wonderful Thursday morning. And I promise you we're going to have a wonderful time. But I will crave your indulgence. I would like for us to keep muted. After I'm done with the delivery, there will be time for questions and for interactions, just so that we can have a sane house. Wow, already somebody has unmuted herself. So it's good for us to have a sane house and so that we can all flow together. Hello, can we stay muted, please? Okay.
Prof, just unmute yourself, Prof, so that you can continue.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So, like I was introduced, my name is Chux Nwosu. I'm called Pest Control Prof. And that's because I have a strong passion for the pest control industry. And I help a lot of people to become well-rounded in the profession. All right, so we're going to be looking at the principles of vector control and integrated pest management, which we call IPM. All right, I'm going to be sharing my slide from, please, DFORTUNE. I want to share my slide from my other handle there, Prof. Chux. I don't know if you've seen that. Please give me privileges so that I can share from there. You see the FGF logo. Please grant me sharing privileges there so I can share from there. Okay, good.
Tap to speak. Don't speak it.
Okay.
Keep off your mic, please. Keep off your mic, everyone, please.
Off your mic, please.
Put off your mic.
Okay, so let's dive into the meat of the whole thing. Okay, so that's my slide. The principles of vector control and integrated pest management. So before we go into the nitty-gritty of the whole thing, I will want us to acquaint ourselves with some quotes. And this quote will actually help us as we proceed in the course. Okay, but before we do that, I want us to have a mental picture of ourselves. All right. Have a mental picture of yourself as a doctor, a pharmacist, or a surgeon. Okay. So with that mental picture in your head, I need you to look at that quote by the left-hand side of the screen that says, as a PMP, you are a physician and pharmacist put together. You observe, diagnose, and prescribe drugs for and treat pest-related cases. Like a doctor and pharmacist, you dare not misdiagnose, misprescribe, or mistreat, for it is a matter of life and death. And like a doctor or pharmacist, your requisite knowledge largely determines your success rate. So what I'm trying to say there is that going forward, see yourself as a very important personality in this pest control business that we are in. So the same way doctors cater for their patients, the same way they treat sick people, that is about what we too are doing in this business. Okay, so it is a serious business. And
Can't hear you, please. Can't hear you. Can't hear you, please.
You can't hear me. Am I audible?
We can hear you clearly. Maybe you should just, if you can't hear, just put a chat on the group so that we can see it instead of interrupting the session. Maybe it's your microphone or your internet. We are all in different locations and the audio is very clear.
Okay, so let me just proceed. So the idea of the physical, of the imaginary, whatever I put up there, is for us to know that what we do is actually very serious. And as we are going to be looking at IPM, we're going to see the importance of that imagery that I asked us to do. All right, so let me okay, I'm going to be sharing from here now because my other system has gone off. All right, so the question, what exactly is vector control? Vector control. Now, the word vector actually refers to, just a moment, I'm looking for my screen. When we say vector control, we're talking about any method used to limit or eradicate mammals, birds, insects, or arthropods, collectively called vectors, which transmit diseases and disease pathogens. So when we talk about vector control, we're talking about things like ticks, like mosquitoes, like sesafly, those things that transmit disease from one person to another, all right? But in this part of the world, our major interest is actually mosquitoes. Yes. So we are going to be focusing on mosquito control today as we look at vector control. I'm going to be sharing the slides with us so that after now we can go back to them. But let me share an experience with you. Now, you see, the reason why I say you should imagine yourself as a doctor is this. Sometime last year, we were called to do a job at a hotel. I majorly service hotels. And the reason is that word has gone around that I know how to deal with mosquitoes. All right. So that hotel called us to service them, and they've been having issues with mosquitoes. A lot of pest control practitioners have come. They've given their solution, but there hasn't been any respite at all. So what we did when we entered the scene was, first of all, we asked them for, the evidence of the treatment that other practitioners have been giving them in the form of certificates, in the form of reports and all that. So from the certificates they gave us, we were able to understand that most of these operators have been using the same active ingredient to treat their mosquito issues there. And you know, one thing with this pest is that there is something called pest resistance. Some pests with time show resistance to some of these active ingredients that we use in the industry. So this particular active ingredient is actually deltamethrin. All right, so a lot of the practitioners have been using deltamethrin. Some use lambda-cyhalothrin. So putting together all the reports and the certificate they gave us from that hotel, we decided that we were not going to use any of the active ingredients that those people had used, just so that, you know, we will not be dealing with resistance. And you know what? That was what solved the problem for us, and we were able to deal with the issue. So we used another active ingredient. We used the bifenthrin. Yes, that was what we used, and we were able to control the mosquitoes in that facility. All right, so going forward, when we talk about vector control, there's something called IVM. I'm sure a lot of us don't know about this. It's actually called Integrated Vector Management. It's related to IPM. As we go on, we will see the similarities. So I'm expanding this so that we can see what it looks like. But of course, most of what we'll be talking about will be practical based. What I will want you to do is, after this session, you go back to the material and look at them. So from this diagram, you will see that we have chemical control, we have physical control, we have biological control, and we have preventative practices, we have surveillance, we have public education. So all this come together to form what we call integrated vector management. All right. So we'll be moving fast, and practical solutions is what I'll be giving us so that the class can be meaningful for us. Now, mosquito control is divided into two areas mainly, individual and public. So most often it is performed following the integrated mosquito management concept, which is called IMM. IMM is based on ecological, economic, and social criteria, and integrates multidisciplinary methodologies into pest management strategies that are practical and effective to protect public health and the environment and improve the quality of life. Now, if we flick back to the second slide, yeah, I wrote there that no mosquito control strategy is ever complete without proper larviciding procedure. No mosquito control strategy is ever complete without proper larviciding procedures. What do we mean by larviciding? Larviciding is actually a term used to describe. Somebody's mic is unmuted there. Okay, so larviciding is a term actually used to describe the effort we put into play to deal with mosquito larvae, those larvae that will grow up to come and be disturbing us, you know, deal with the pupa at their growing stage before they become adults. So proper larviciding is important in every mosquito control procedure. Then every mosquito control battle is won primarily outdoors. What do I mean by that? Now, if you deal with mosquitoes indoors and you have not dealt with the ones outdoors, definitely you are fighting a lost battle, because those ones outdoors will still come inside to deal with your client. All right, so we go back to the slide we were on. So IMM strategies are employed in concert with insecticide. So this includes source reduction, which incorporates physical control, digging ditches and ponds in target areas, and biological control, as is placing live mosquito fish in the ditches and ponds to eat mosquito larvae. Other non-chemical control methods include invertebrate predators, parasites, and diseases to control mosquito larvae. So we don't do this in this part of the world, actually, introducing parasites and all that. But what we can do is bait for mosquitoes. Like there was a job we did at a particular place in Nigeria. So mosquito has been eating them alive there, and the place is like marshy. So what we did, because of the kind of training I had, in my own training, they showed us all these kind of things. We dug trenches around that area. Is a mini estate, like an estate of 5 blocks, yeah, duplexes and all that. So mosquitoes have been disturbing them. What we did was to dig trenches around the place. So we made artificial dwelling places for these mosquitoes. You know, mosquitoes love water, standard water. So we dug that trench, made the place comfortable for them. And what did we do with the trenches? We poured water in them. And in the water, we poured something called IGR. As we go on, we will get to know all these things. Insect growth regulator into the pond, as it were. And what happened? All the mosquitoes, most of the mosquitoes in that vicinity were converging in that place. And because they were laying eggs there, the IGR was taking care of them and knocking them out. So, but because we have dealt with adult mosquitoes indoors, those ones outdoors couldn't reproduce fast enough to become adults to be biting them indoors. So I'm saying that to underscore what I just read out now, that where they said this includes source reduction, that's reducing the mosquitoes at source. You know, where physical control, digging of ditches and ponds in target areas are employed. And then sometimes you put biological control. I don't know if some of us, when we were young, whether we remembered, we used to fish in gutters, these stagnant gutters of Lagos, all right? You see, those fishes in those gutters were actually introduced by the federal government at some point to deal with mosquito. One mosquito control program they did one time. So those fishes, what the fishes in those gutters were meant to be doing, I don't know whether any of us were know what I'm talking about. Those days we used to fish, catch those small fishes, color fishes, multicolored fishes. Those fishes were supposed to be eating the larvae in the gutters. So this is one of the ways larviciding is done. Mosquito is controlled, introducing mosquito-eating fishes. Their name is actually Gambusia. That's what they call those fishes. So when you introduce those fishes, they eat up these mosquitoes that are about to develop into adult. Okay, sometimes you introduce biological controls like birds, bats, and all that. Frogs too eat mosquitoes. But like I said, in Nigeria, all these practices are not so popular. Now, in the use of pesticides to deal with mosquitoes, how do we use pesticides? You know, a lot of people are used to agro chemicals. I'm going to show us in the class today how to actually use agrochemicals to deal with mosquitoes. Now, before we started, because getting IGRs are actually difficult. Before now, it's been difficult. You have to import them from abroad to use them. So what we used to do, in those gutters where we need to larvicide, yeah, we take our motorized sprayer, those power sprayer, either the mist blower, the big mouth, or the other one with smaller, the pressure sprayers. Inside those gutters, we spray the gutters and make sure we agitate the water in the gutters. By the time you do that, they no born the larva well to develop into adult mosquito. So products like Delta Action, which is deltamethrin, products like Lambdaca, which is lambda cyhalothrin, and some of them in the market like that. Those are what we use to do our larviciding procedures, and they've been working wonderfully well. But the point is this: you have to agitate the water. So I'm saying this so that in case you can't lay your hands on IGRs, in case you can't lay your hands on those insect growth regulators that we use for these gutters, you can do this and get 100% kill ratio. But the waters in the gutter has to be agitated, because if they are not agitated, you won't achieve results. Now, I'm sure a lot of us are used to this system of pouring black oil in water. You know, some have been using that practice for a long time. They say when you pour black oil on top of water, it will make disturb the larvae there. It will make them not to be able to breathe or grow to become adult mosquitoes. All a lie. When you pour black oil into gutter, at best, what you are doing is environmental, what's it called now? Pollution. Yeah, because the way these larvae then, the way they breathe underwater, there's something they have. I'm trying to remember the name. They call that in, but before the end of the lecture, I will remember. So with that stuff in their mouth, they attach themselves to the surface of water. You know, that thing is like a pipe with which they breathe air from the surface of the water. And it protrudes a little bit out of the water, meaning that no matter the quantity of oil you pour on top of the gutter or inside the water in the gutter, it's not going to affect them at all. So stop pouring black oil in gutters, thinking that it will deter mosquitoes, thinking that it will kill mosquito larvae in the water. It doesn't. Your best bet is to use your mist blower, use your power sprayer, you know, mix your insecticide in it, spray in the gutters, make sure the water in the gutter is agitated. You have destroyed the larva. Those are the practical ways we deal with mosquitoes, and it's been giving us 100% result. An efficient way to control mosquitoes is to find and eliminate their larval habitat, where the larvae are produced. If you find them, you destroy their habitat, you are good. So eliminating large larval development sites, which is called source reduction, such as swamps or gutters as we have in Lagos, or sluggishly moving streams or ditches, may require sometimes community-wide efforts, especially for those gutters that are very, very big and canals. You know, this is actually sometimes usually a task for the government and all that. But the one we can do, the gutters surrounding the area we are treating, we have control over those gutters. And if we do these things, as I have listed, as I have talked about them, we are good to go. So talking about larviciding, the best insecticides to use for mosquito control, even for this larviciding we are talking about, are pyrethroids. Actually, they are the best. Pyrethroids. Pyrethroids are the best. So if you don't know what pyrethroids are, I think you should go back and get more info. But pyrethroids, in the family of pyrethroids, we have lambda-cyhalothrin, we have deltametrin, we have permethrin, we have sapermethrin, and bifenthrin. You know, all those chemicals that have their names ending in trin, they all belong to the family of pyrethroids, you know. So they are very, very good for mosquito control. Now, but to achieve the best result and the best safe result for larva control, IGRs are still the best bet. Insect growth regulators. What these products do is they actually stop the development of larvae and make those larvae, make it difficult for them to grow into adults that will be disturbing your clients and all that. If you can lay your hands on IGR, they are perfect. Now, the beautiful thing about the times we are in now is that there is a particular IGR that is available in the market at Top Knock. I'm going to share the picture with the Fortune so that he can post it on the forum for the trainees so that you can have access to some of these things. IGRs work wonderfully for larval control. Now, there are some steps that as a practitioner you should take when you are doing mosquito control. So your job is not just to go into the apartment, spray the place, and get out. When you do that, you've not done anything. What you have succeeded at best to do is maybe you kill a few adult mosquitoes indoors, but you've not taken care of the ones outdoors that will come inside after you are gone to disturb your clients. So one of the steps is to destroy and dispose of tin cans, cans around the place you are treating, old tires, anything that can retain water, that will attract mosquitoes to come and be laying eggs in them. Dispose of them. Unused plastic swimming pools, plastic swimming pools in the compound, remove them or overturn them. Any container that collect or hold water, get rid of them. Then sometimes mosquitoes hide inside debris, any debris inside gutter around the place you are treating. If you can't get rid of them, ask your clients to get rid of them prior to your visit. It will help a great deal, because if you don't do all these things, those are the places the mosquitoes will go to hide and come out from after you are done. So standing water under or around structures, remove them. Then for some buildings that have flat roof, those decking roofs, sometimes they have pool of water on top of those roofs, and from there mosquitoes come and breed. So these are the things you need to do to ensure a good mosquito control outing. So even faucets, air conditioner units that leak water and all that, wherever water drops, are potential breeding grounds for mosquitoes. As long as that water is just a few inches deep. When I say inches, I mean like half an inch or 1 inch. Mosquito can go there to lay egg. Okay? So you drain puddles, ditches in swampy areas. Then some trees around where you're treating, sometimes trees have holes in them. Mosquitoes can go into these holes, especially when they are filled with water, and they lay their eggs there. You won't know. So these are the things you watch out for in your mosquito treatment regime. Watch out for areas where water is gathered, where mosquitoes can actually go to lay their eggs, because you don't want mosquitoes laying eggs, because when they do, within 2 weeks, I tell you, or like 14 days, the mosquito larvae will develop into adults and will begin to wreak havoc on your client. So seepages from cisterns, septic tanks, make sure they are eliminated. Check for trapped water in plastic or canvas tarpaulins. Those tarpaulins that they use to cover things. Even those things that you use to cover cars, sometimes they collect water. You won't know. So that's why inspection is really, really important. So those things collect water. You won't know. You go do your treatment, but there are mosquitoes trapped in those places, larvae and all that. Okay. And when it comes to lawns and gardens, if they are not properly irrigated, water will gather in them. There are houses that have lawns, green lawns. People keep lawns. If those lawns have small ditches in them, mosquitoes will, lay eggs in them and will breed there. So you make sure you look out for those things and deal with them. If it's to spray, you spray. If it's to get rid of the water, you do that. Now, but there's another method that has been introduced in recent times now. It is called the lavasonic. We don't have it in Nigeria at the moment. All right. What this does is that it transmits sound energy into a body of water at a particular frequency. And what this energy does is that it goes into the air bladders of the mosquitoes and ruptures their air bladder, and then the internal tissues, and cause death for mosquito larvae. I've not seen them. It's just been described. It was described to me at a training I attended. I've not seen them in Nigeria yet. But the one you can do, you do. I've given you a simple process. If you don't have IGR, you can use your normal agro insecticides to do larviciding, and you will do it effectively. Now, when you talk of adult mosquito control, there are different ways to do that. There's one we call the mosquito traps. You can use mosquito traps, though in this part of the world, we don't really have them. So there are numerous devices that are available for purchase that claim to attract, repel, or kill outdoor infestations of mosquitoes. But mind you, you should thoroughly research before you buy anyone for your client, because some of them, a lot of them don't work. Some traps are designed to mimic potential mammalian hosts by emitting a plume of carbon dioxide. These ones are actually effective. Yeah, so they mimic a plume of carbon dioxide, because what actually attracts mosquitoes to human beings is actually the carbon dioxide that we produce. As you sleep and snore, you emit carbon dioxide, you breathe in oxygen. The carbon dioxide you are breathing out attracts mosquitoes. That is what attracts them. All right. So this product emits carbon dioxide, and thereby attracting mosquitoes. Okay, so these things are sometimes you have additional attractants in them, like what we call octanol. So these attractants attract the mosquitoes into that device, and after drawing the insect into the trap, a vacuum device sucks the mosquito into a net or cylinder where they dehydrate and die. So there's no zapping or anything, no pesticides used in that kind of process. But the fact is this: scientific data relative to the effectiveness of these devices is sparse. So be sure to review all information available before using any one of these products. Nobody can vouch for them. Now, there's something we call space spraying. We have different ways to do spraying. Most of us, when we buy our sprayers, we think that our sprayers can actually do everything. Some of these sprayers come with different nozzles. They come with different nozzles. I'm sure you know what I mean. There's this nozzle tips. There are different types. There's the fan shape, there's the cone nozzle and all that. So space spraying, what does it do? So the advantage of space spraying treatment is immediate knockdown, quick application, and relative small amount of material is required for the treatment. So what do you do in space spraying? It's actually spraying into the air, because there's no way you want to deal with mosquito that you will not spray into the air. But the fact is this: it is only when you are treating for mosquitoes that you should spray into the air. If you are dealing with crawling insects, you don't have any business spraying into the air, because crawling insects, what you need to do is drop your solution for them so that they can crawl over them and have contact with them and they affect them. But as long as it's mosquito you are dealing with, space spraying is important. And this space spraying you are talking about, your normal sprayer cannot deliver it. Your normal sprayer cannot deliver it, because the solution that is coming out needs to be aerosolized. It means that the microns need to be very, very small, such that when you spray them into the air, they remain in the air to affect the mosquitoes in that particular space. Because if they can't stay in the air, if your spray cannot remain in the air for some time, it won't have any effect. You understand? So what it then means is that the best equipment to use for space spraying is actually your ULV. Your ULV. ULV is perfect for mosquito control. Yes, these compression sprayers are also very, very good, because the microns that comes out of them are actually, good enough to deal with space spraying. But you can't space spray with your jack tool. You cannot do space spraying with your normal knapsack sprayer. It's not possible. You cannot do normal space spraying with your power sprayer at all. So for you to get 100% effectiveness in your mosquito control, a ULV is very, very important. So if you don't have a ULV, you're going for a mosquito control job, make sure you rent one. Seriously. If you want to get the job done, ULV is very good. Compression sprayer is also very, very good. But the thing is this: as professionals, it is only insecticides that are labeled for flying insects that should be sprayed into the air. All right. And it is only insecticides that have fumigant properties that you should spray into the air. What do I mean by fumigant properties? You know, fumigant properties are like that has to do with respiration of the pest you're dealing with. You know, something that will be in the air that someone can take in through the nostril or can breathe in. You know, those are fumigant properties. You know, so it's important that you also know the mode of entry of chemicals. That's one of them. I've told you so. Fumigant. There's contact poison. There's a stomach poison. So in the case of mosquito control, the best forms of chemicals to use are chemicals that will affect that act as fumigants. Electrolytes are very good at this, right? So that's that for space spraying. There's something called indoor residual spraying in mosquito control. Indoor residual spraying. I'm sure a lot of us are used to this terminology. But the fact is this, yeah, what indoor residual spraying does is, as the name implies, it involves coating the walls of a particular space and surfaces of a house with residual insecticide. When we say residual insecticide, we are talking about insecticide that when you spray them on a particular surface, they stay on that surface for a long time. And that length of time they are there, they will keep on knocking the insects. Any insect that come in contact with them where they are sprayed on, we keep on dying for a space of, say, 3 months. Some even last for 6 months, depending on the product. So examples of residual insecticides are your saponate is one of them, Tempo is one of them, and there are some of them in the market. But the fact is that residual insecticides are very, very, very expensive. But these are the kinds of insecticides that you do your indoor residual spraying with. And indoor residual spraying is best done with a compression sprayer. You know, those sprayers that you pump, those cylindrical shiny ones, most of them are shiny. Those are the best for spray spraying. And when you're doing your spray spraying, there's a method to it. There's a method to it. That's not our topic for today, but maybe I can do an addendum and then add to this slide so that the Fortune can share with you. So the way to do it is you spray a particular section of the wall from the roof top, from the ceiling top down to the floor, section by section. You make sure that all the surfaces of the wall in that room is, you know, coated. And as you're spraying, your spraying should be done in such a way that as you're spraying, there's something called, what's the name now? But what I'm trying to say is that as you're spraying on the wall, watch out for what you're spraying to a point of dripping. If your spraying does not get to that point where it's dripping a little from the wall, it will not be effective. So it has to get to that dripping stage for it to be effective. Okay, I hope I'm still audible. Am I making sense? Anybody? Please just unmute your mind. I need to know whether I'm making sense a little.
You're making a lot of sense.
Fire.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're making sense.
You are making sense, sir.
Okay, so let's mute ourselves now so that I can go on.
You are on course, sir.
Thank you. Mute yourself so that I can go on. No. Sorry, just a moment. By the way, the picture you are seeing there at the front cover of the slide is my family. You know, that's a picture showing a healthy family that is pest free, where there's no pest in our house. That's why I use the picture there. So, but the aim of vector control is to be able to read an environment of mosquitoes, of disease-causing mosquitoes, sickness-causing mosquitoes, so that your client will have a mosquito-free environment and they will live a healthy life. So we're talking about IRS now, but there's a problem with IRS. I wouldn't even advise anybody to do IRS. IRS is very expensive, very, very expensive. The chemical you use for IRS, expensive. The equipment you use for IRS is expensive. And then it is strenuous. It's a big job. The last IRS I did, by the time we finished the job, we couldn't lift up our right hands because it was a very, very tiring job. Nowadays, I don't even do IRS. We don't do IRS again. Because the fact is this, if you manage or if you are successful in dealing with mosquitoes around you, you don't need to do IRS inside. There's no need doing IRS inside if you have gotten rid of the larva outside and you have gotten rid of the mosquitoes lying around outside. Then what you now need to do is what we call the cultural control. When we get there, we'll talk about it. But your client, you need to make your client understand that the mosquito screening, the nets should be in place, the screen doors should be in place. And in your inspection, check the integrity of these screenings to make sure that there's no hole in them that mosquitoes can come in through. All right. You know, the essence of these things, the inspection you do is this. And after your inspection, write a report, send to your client. Let your client know what he needs to do, what she needs to do, and let your client know what you are doing. The reason is this: for mosquito control is a very tricky business. You could finish a treatment now, the next day they call you, mosquito in jewa, how they say it in Yoruba, mosquito jewa pambi ishe teshilano, read here. You know, that kind of thing. So to protect yourself, you send ahead of you your report. In your report, the responsibility of your client should be stated there. Okay, if your client is supposed to fix nets, he should fix them. Your recommendation is that holes should be fixed, nets should be changed, nets should be installed. Then you put there a clause: if these things are not done, your treatment regime will be jeopardized. So if you do that, you have left an escape loop for yourself. It's very important because mosquito treatment is very tricky, especially in this part of the world. But you can get it right. And like I said in the other slide that I put there, let me quickly go back there so that we acquaint ourselves with that quote. I said the mosquito control battle is a battle. Is one primarily outdoors. It is outdoors that you win the fight against mosquito. You can do, yes, you do a lot indoors, but outdoors, if you don't take care of your outdoors, forget it. What you did indoors is rubbish. All right? Time is seriously flying, and I'm still in mosquito control. But I'm going to share this slide so that we move quickly into IPM. But what I want to say in closing on mosquito control is this. You see, don't let anybody hello. Don't let anybody deceive
11:44 a.m. No
you. So
options for spoken more.
don't let anybody deceive you. You can use agrochemicals to do your mosquito control. You can use agrochemicals. Like I've shared with you how you can use it to do your larviciding in the gutter. Yeah, you can use them indoors too. But you need to know how. You need to know mixing ratio. You know, all this. That's why training is actually good. Maybe in the next training, whatever we do, we're going to be talking about mixing proportions. We're going to be talking about calibration and all that. These are what we need to know as practitioners, so that whenever you go out there, you are going out with the confidence that you can deliver on any job. Okay, so mosquito treatment, your larviciding is key. If you don't get it right, forget it. And anywhere where there is a swimming pool in the area you are treating, if that swimming pool doesn't have, normally swimming pools have this something that agitates them inside. If the swimming pool is not agitated, is a risk factor. Mosquitoes will lay eggs in them. We have done a job for a particular hotel. That hotel has a swimming pool, and that swimming pool is not accredited. Mosquitoes were laying eggs, and there were larvae inside the pool. All right, so these are things you need to watch out for. Please mute yourself. Somebody is unmuted there.
Prof, can you unmute yourself? I muted everybody.
Okay, I'm audible now, right? Good.
Yes, you're audible. We can hear you. Continue.
Beautiful. All right, so I was talking about vegetation. When you are doing your mosquito treatment, vegetation is important to look out for vegetation. You need to do your vegetation management. So I was saying that adult mosquitoes prefer to rest on weeds and other vegetation. So it means that if there are flowers in the area you are treating, there are hotels, like I always talk about hotels because we service a lot of hotels and we do mosquito control for them. Now, there are some facilities that have live plants in them. We have had to advise some of them to change to artificial plants. Why? So that our job will be made easier. Because mosquitoes like vegetation. They hide in them. All right. And the fact is this: the more you spray on vegetation, the higher the risk of killing ornamentals in the particular place you are treating. All right. So as not to put yourself in that scenario, in that situation, advise your client. We've done it. We've succeeded on many occasions. Change the live plant to artificial plant, and it has worked well for us. But if you have vegetation in the place you are treating, use your mist blower. Misting is perfect for this kind of situation. Outside control, misting is perfect. The reason is that for this outside control, vegetation control, you need the microns that you're supposed to be delivering, in your spraying should be a little bit more coarse than that of the ULV. ULV is finer, but for mist blower, it's a little bit heavier. So you need that and all that. Sometimes people use fogging too to take care of the outside, but I don't fog. I don't fog, and I have my reasons. Some people use thermal foggers. Thermal foggers work fine too, but I consider the next compound to the place I'm treating. If I'm using a thermal fogger, the smoke can travel to other places and get into their residence. So I don't use thermal fogger. I use a mist blower. That motorized sprayer, the one with the big mouth, that's the one we use for the outside of vegetation and all that. Okay, so moving on. I think we can jump into integrated pest management now. All right, so integrated pest management, the only way I describe integrated pest management is this. I say it is the only professional way to do pest control. If you are not doing integrated pest management, believe me, you are not doing a professional job as a pest. As my opinion is debatable, but that's what I practice. So if you don't practice IPM, I would say you are not practicing professional pest control, because with IPM, a lot goes into IPM. So not all pest control problems are tackled the same way. Professionals with years of pest control experience have outlined various methods and techniques that are best for controlling certain insects and rodents. It all starts with practicing integrated pest management. Integrated pest management is a term used to describe an approach to pest control that focuses on preventing pest control problems and making it so that chemicals are not the first plan of action to get rid of pests, but rather is viewed as a last resort. This means that you perform a detailed examination of conducive conditions around the place you are treating, you make environmental modifications as it were, and take other steps to make sure that the pest infestation doesn't develop. This is a technique that professionals apply to reduce the need for applying chemicals and helping the environment, so a chemical treatment doesn't occur unless they absolutely have to in order to address the problem. So I'm just going to summarize this. You will get the material, you can go through it. I said that IPM is the only professional way to do pest control. If you look at this diagram that I've expanded here, this is like components of, there are so many paradigms of IPM actually, many of them. IPM is a huge, I studied, in fact, I studied IPM as a course for 6 months. IPM, only IPM. So it's a very huge topic, but we're just going to like summarize it a little. Look at this diagram here. You see pest identification, you see prevention, you see monitoring, you see choose options, action, evaluation. These are components of IPM. There are so many others, but this is like a compression of them. When you go through the notes, you'll see them. All right. So there are some definitions of IPM actually. Some have defined IPM as the practice of preventing or suppressing damaging population of insect pests by application of the comprehensive and coordinated integration of multiple control tactics. Some have described IPM as that it combines the use of biological, cultural, and chemical practices to control insect pests. It seeks to use natural predators or parasites to control pests, using selective pesticides for backup only when pests are unable to be controlled by natural means. Some people have described IPM to be an approach that depends greatly on knowledge of pest biology and ecology to allow tactical decision-making by PMPs in order to optimize the control of pest organisms. See, that's why I mentioned the fact that it is the only professional way to do pest control, because without a great knowledge of pest biology, how do you intend to deal with the pests you want to treat? And this IPM embraces all these things. The IPM is an ecosystem approach to the control of pests that combines different management strategies and practices and minimize the use of pesticides. So IPM therefore utilizes the best mix of control tactics for a given pest problem. That's still talking about IPM. Now, some people think that IPM is a system or a method where chemicals are not used at all, but it's not true. It's actually a mix of every kind of activities you can think of. But the fact is that chemicals are used as a last resort, not the first. So it means that you get into a facility, you want to treat the facility. There are so many things you consider before you consider application of pesticides. That means you consider the fact that you need to do exclusion. You consider the fact that some mechanical factors need to be in place. You consider the fact that the habitat of this pest needs to be dealt with and all that before you go into pesticide, the usage of pesticide. See, typically the main aim of IPM program is on agricultural insect pests. That was where IPM started from. So although originally developed for agricultural pest management, IPM programs are now developed to encompass diseases, weeds, and other pests that may interfere with the management objective of sites such as residential and commercial structures, lawn and turf areas, and home and community gardens. So IPM use current comprehensive information on the life cycles of pests and their interaction with the environment. This information, in combination with available pest control methods, is used to manage pest damage by the most economical means and with the least possible hazard to people, property, and the environment. So that's just the fact. So any treatment approach you want to embark on that doesn't take into consideration the health of people, the health of your client, I mean, it's not professional. So that's why I said IPM is the only professional way to do pest control. And if you don't know it, it's good you know it. DFORTUNE mentioned the fact that they are going to clamp down on quacks. I tell you the fact, there are professional quacks. Professional quacks are people that are certified but really don't know the job. All right, so that's why this training is really, really important. Trainings upon training, because by the time they are weeding out the quacks, it won't be nice to weed out professionals too as they are weeding out quacks. All right, so that's by the way anyway. So when we talk about the paradigm that I showed us here, I've listed definitions of all of them here in the notes. Okay, so we have pest identification, we have prevention, monitoring. So pest identification is the first crucial step in solving the problem. Okay, whether your pest is a weed, insect, or animal, or microbe, or other organisms, correct identification can determine if the organism is harmful, if it is beneficial, if it is benign. Benign means that it is there, but it's not really harmful. It's visible, but it's not harmful. So there's no point dealing with it. Okay. So misidentification of pests is a common cause of pest control failures. Remember, I told us about the fact that we are supposed to see ourselves as doctors, as pharmacists, as surgeons. Imagine a doctor misdiagnosing a particular ailment and mistreating. What happens? Possible loss of life. All right. So misidentification of pests is a common cause of pest control failure. So correct pest identification can make management more effective, often saving time and money. There have been occasions where you just enter a building, you want to deal with rodents, and you find out that just blocking the entry points where they enter the apartment from solves the problem. So you have saved yourself money, you have saved yourself stress, and the client is paying you big for it. So prevention is the next line, is the next one in that paradigm. The way what we say in Nigeria, our parlance, common parlance, say prevention is better than cure. So prevention is often the most effective method of dealing with pests. Eliminating ideal conditions for the pests. When you do that, you have done 90% of the job. So preventive measures can be incorporated even into a building design before the building comes up. Yeah, into a farm plan. When you talk about agriculture, as you are building your house, if you consider prevention of pests, it will go a long way in preventing pests eventually. So maintaining a clean and healthy environment also helps. Those are prevention methods. Monitoring, that's the next thing there after prevention. So monitoring is paying close attention to the area you want to treat. Knowing the state of the system helps prevent smaller issues from becoming larger expenses in time and money. So when you are monitoring, identify factors that contribute to the pest problem, such as poor sanitation, decline in beneficial organisms, and then consistent monitoring is part of evaluating efficacy, monitoring. So the next one there is choosing options. Okay, integrated pest management includes timely decision making that can prevent and control pests. The particular situation will narrow the choices from the generally wide range of methods and options. Understanding the life cycle of whatever pests you're treating. When you understand their life cycle and what the pest needs to thrive, when you know all that, it provides you with a clue as to the most efficient way to deal with the problem and manage it. So the options can actually range from sanitation to conserving natural enemies, even to chemical intervention. So that is the IPM paradigm there. I will implore us, because my time is fast spent, to go and look at this material. I'm going to put it up. But if you haven't learned anything from my delivery this morning, I want you to go with the fact that your job as a pest management professional is a very critical one. See yourself as a physician. See yourself as a pharmacist. You dare not misdiagnose. You dare not misprescribe. You dare not mistreat. So because you shouldn't do all that, you should take IPM as seriously as you can. That is my message for us today. Thank you very much. I hope it was useful. DFORTUNE, over to you.
Prof, thank you so much. What a session we have there. What a session we have. Can everybody just unmute, open your video? Let us just say, let's give Prof some can he just see you that you're really following the class?
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you really following.
Thanks for the wonderful
In fact,
presentation.
it was as though the class should not
God bless you, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Salute, no
Thank you,
question.
Mother Chux.
That was a great
Thank you, sir.
It was as though the class
Thank you so much,
should
sir.
Prof.
Tried. Well done.
So now we are going to go to question and answer quickly because we still have 2 more classes this morning. We're going to go to question and answer, and I can see everybody is very serious with this course, and that's the way it should be. You know, we need to take knowledge. Some of us say, "But I know all this thing before." But there are certain punchline that are brought in now that you were like, "I never like." So you can't really say you know it all. Always, knowledge is very key and very essential in everything we do. Now I'm going to meet everybody again, and then I'm going to ask a question, 3 persons to ask questions before we allow profs to go for this. So, question. Kayode, allow me to again. You want to ask a question? Can we have your question? Kayode, yeah.
Okay.
Meet yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Professor. It was a very beautiful class. I gained a lot from it. So I have a few questions, but I'm just going to ask one because of time, so other people can also ask. The question I'm asking is about dealing with the larva, dealing with the larva mosquitoes before they get to the adults.
Yes.
So you made mention of doing some certain strategies to deal with them.
Yes.
And what I could bring from it was more about a big project. That is, maybe when you go to your hotels that they want to fumigate or do pest control, you tell them what to do and what not to do and how to kill the larva or disinfect the place. But it wasn't really about those that get jobs per, let's say, maybe for just a residential apartment, or maybe just one house is planning to fumigate his place out of 20 houses in the streets. So how do we do that? How do we do the larviciding, like the gutters of the person's place? After doing the person's space or the person's gutter, you know, subsequently other people's gutter would still, the larva would still breed in their gutters or in stagnant waters. So how do we avoid those from going to the space that we are actually working on? That's just my question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, see here, when you are dealing with residents, you have to take on the fact that it is an unfortunate fact that you need to do larviciding for areas that are even beyond, you know, where the person is staying. So what I mean is this: if it's a block of 4 flats and you're dealing with just 1 flat there, you see the gutter in front of that house, even though the person did not pay you that much to treat the gutters, you have to do it because that is the strength of your treatment. What you do outside is the strength of whatever happens inside. So because you know that that is the strength of your treatment, you know that you need to deal with it. So what we do is this: the boundary, every house will have a boundary where on both sides, the right side, left side. I go beyond, like 10 meters to the right, 10 meters to the left. I do the gutters. That way, I take care of the issue. After dealing with the outside, though, after dealing with the inside, sorry, I come outside, I do the gutters, I do 10 meters to the left, 10 meters to the right. That's what I do. And it works. It works for me. I don't know if that makes sense. If it's
Okay, yeah, it actually makes sense. It makes sense. So I'm looking at it from the point of, I'm not even looking at it from the point of maybe block of apartments. I'm looking at it from the perspective of people on the streets. So let's say there is just a single house on that street. I mean, there is a single house that you got the job for, and they have about, let's say, 10 houses or 5 houses on either sides of the streets, and they have a blocked gutter. That is automatically a breeding site for the larvas. So if are we to just do the front gutter of the resident that we got the job from, or we persuade other members of the streets to also do their pest management, which we know some people would not do?
See, you don't persuade, you don't have control over somebody that is not your client. So you don't persuade anybody. I just told you that you go 10 meters to the right, 10 meters. So if that 10 meters falls into other people's apartment, you do it. Their gutter, you do it. Nobody will squeeze their face when they are seeing you treating their gutter. They would like you to do it. So, I mean, that's the responsibility I take on when I take on residential apartment. And when I go for my inspection, if the gutters are sealed, it then means that I have to use thermal fogger, to take care of the mosquitoes inside the sealed gutters and everything. So, but treat the gutters, you must. It's important. If you don't do that, I mean, it will render the job you've done inside very, very less effective.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, still waiting for questions.
Okay, the next question now. Can I call on Muidin? Muidin? Can you ask the question? Is Muidin there?
Let's take the next
Muidin.
question.
If Muidin is not there, go to Salma Lukman. Can we get your question quickly? The next, Saman.
Okay, me didn't send a text that is there. Good afternoon.
Okay, Saman, good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
Let's ask.
The lecture is well understood, and I love it.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
I said, the lecture was well delivered, and I really enjoyed it. Continue to guide everyone to the right path. Now, my question, sir. In a situation whereby we have a very large, let me just call it an estate, whereby buildings are being built together, and we have an occupant of the building said, okay, come and do this for me, come and do pest control for me, and the other one said, see, I don't want the smell, I don't want this. How one can do that in a way that whatever we do here will not have effect on the other occupants of the other house.
Okay. The thing is this. When it comes to, are you talking about mosquito control now or generally? Yeah.
Hello.
Are you talking about mosquito control now or general?
Hello, I didn't get it, sir.
Are you referring to mosquito control or general pest control?
Hello, yes, I'm talking about mosquito control.
in the treatment of mosquitoes, the fact is that the chemicals or the active ingredients for mosquito control are actually the type that will choke when people perceive it. There are chemicals that will disturb people. So the thing to do is, if the neighbors are complaining, let your client know. We've had occasions where clients speak to the neighbors, say, this is what I want to do, and that kind of thing. So they have to be in agreement before you do what you have to do. You can't just go and begin to spew out treatments, especially for mosquito control. Mosquito control, you use the chemicals you use for mosquito control. Most times, a lot of them choke because a lot of them have fumigant properties, and you don't want to have a situation where people are breathing in all this thing.
So can I get a pests like termites and rodents? Can I ask questions on that?
But that's not the.
Okay, just ask a question.
That's not the point of discussion.
Yeah, ask the question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. I have a client who asked me to come and treat termite. I mean, it's just like it's a landscape area which I've tried it over and over, and the termite is not going. Then I understand that termite was imported through the soil that was being spread on the farm. I don't know which best way can I take to. And as for the rodent too has the same, almost same thing, which is an high-rise building. The first and third, the rodent.
Your network is terrible. Okay, but let me just go straight and answer the termite. Answer the one for the rats. Hello. Hang on, let me take the one for the termites. Are you there? To answer your question, I will ask you a question. What did you use for your treatment?
We tried. Okay, can you hear me? Hello.
I can barely hear you. What did you use for your termite treatment? Wow. I think we should just take the next question.
Okay. I think we should just go to the next question. Damitade, can we get your question? I need a lot of people to ask questions, and we are running beyond. We also have a few minutes to call in the next
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for the very, very in-depth. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have two questions. I don't know, maybe you have tried this mosquitoes or granules. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Okay. Let me mute everybody. Let me mute everybody. Then you mute yourself, please. So, Damitade, you can now unmute and
okay. Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Please, I want to ask about mosquito granules for outdoor. Does it really work? I don't know, maybe you have tried it. Does it really work in Nigeria?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Are they IGLs?
Okay, so no, they're not IGLs. It's actually for control. So okay, so they are granules, just like you can. They are granules that can be used outside. Outdoor.
Active ingredient.
I need to check now. I don't have that with me. I wanted to know because I know you're a prof when it comes to that. Okay, maybe I'll check, then I'll be able to send that to you. Okay. Then another question I wanted to ask, because we were saying something about thermal foggers.
Yes.
Okay, so now the thermal fogger, same here. I'm also very, very careful when using thermal fogger, especially even for estates, residential areas. You don't want to disturb the other clients, as in the other neighbors around. But the challenge is this. there are some times that maybe you get to a particular place, maybe they've not used the house for a long period of time, especially during this summer period. People are coming back home. So I noticed because they're coming back home, I have a particular client that the house has not been used for, they only use the house maybe like twice a year. So the place is always is extremely very, the sanitation is zero. And of course, there are several things hiding. So they have tires, they have cars parked inside the compounds, like almost 15 cars parked, nobody's using it, and they have like tires, they have different things. So, but if I'm going to use the motorized one, do you think that would be so effective than if I'm using a thermoforger? And of course, the outdoor, the drainages also, they have that kind of challenge because the house, the front of the house is actually grassy. The drainage is zero. Fine, we're clearing the drainages, but you were saying something like using a thermoforger. That's most times when you're looking at the mosquito, because they were after mosquitoes, they don't stay in Nigeria. So I'm looking at it that, of course, if you're doing anything like mosquito control program for that particular home, if I'm going to use a thermoforger, do you think that's better or I need to use a motorized? Yeah, thank you.
First of all, you need to understand that thermoforger, what it does is just knock down. Okay, so if you are using a thermoforger, what you are looking at is maybe a few of the flying mosquitoes around. You are knocking them down. You're killing them.
Yeah.
You can't use thermoforger to larvicide now. You can't. It's not possible. All right, it's not possible. So that limits the use of thermoforgers. So for me, I'm talking about my own. It's debatable. I wouldn't take that machine. I call it machine gun. I wouldn't take that machine gun to a battle where I will use my normal mist blower. My mist blower can take care of a lot of stuff. Okay, so it depends. It depends on where you are treating. Like you mentioned, tires, things that capture water. If you don't deal with all that and you pour your smoke, you won't achieve anything at all. So depends.
So can I use both? Can I use both?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can if the situation permits you. If you're not going to be invading on other people's privacy with your smoke. But really, the success rates I've had with mosquito control, I don't use thermoforgers. I use
what about for the drainage then? For the drainage?
Yeah, even for the drainage, yeah. Your thermoforger will only kill the flying mosquitoes inside the drainages. I get what I'm saying?
Yes,
for the
I agree.
Lava in the water, you cannot take care of them.
Yeah, but if I use IGR.
Yeah, if you have IGR, yeah, drop in the water. Good. Yeah, you can.
Without work. If I'm using the thermoforger and I use IGR, without work.
Yes, you can. Yeah, it will work.
All right.
What about the normal sprayer?
Which one is normal sprayer? Knapsack.
Maybe the backpack one.
See, that knapsack cannot do much for you.
Can't do much.
Yes, because like I said, you need pressure. If you want to do larviciding the way I taught you in the class, yeah, you need pressure to agitate the water in the gutter. So your knapsack can't do that. It's not possible. It's not.
If you don't have water in the drain, it will happen.
Oh, sir.
Oh, if you don't have water, your thermoforger will do the job now, sure.
All right, okay. Fantastic. Thanks, Prof.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think that was a robust interaction session. A lot of people want to ask Prof questions, right? Prof. Yeah. So let me just take one more question.
Mrs. Obiora waving. Thank you. Welcome, ma'am.
So I'm going to take just one more person. I'm going to take Obiora. You already mentioned Obiora Precious. He's taking the next course anyway, so let us give her the privilege to ask this question. Miss Obiora, Sanitarian Precious Obiora.
She should unmute herself. You are muted.
Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
And ask a question so that we can now move straight to your
Hello,
class.
good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Very well.
Yeah, Prof. How you doing now?
Very fine. Well done, ma'am.
Wow. Well done.
Thank you.
And my honorable order, I greet you. Yeah, so what actually, mine is not a question though. I want to contribute based on the question that the lady asked.
Yes.
Yeah, it's concerning the using of water and the mist blower. You know, there's this conception that a lot of us used to have that I hope you can hear me.
Sanjay Obiora, kindly unmute yourself. I have to meet everybody to avoid the noise. Kindly unmute yourself. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, clear.
Okay, so quickly, I said that I just want to contribute to the response that Prof gave. You know, there's this misconception that a lot of us used to have concerning the use of thermal fogger, especially for outdoor spaces. You know, they believe that when you use the fogger, you've done, you know, the very best. But I want to tell you that if actually you want to have the best results that you desire, mist blowing or spraying still remains the best.
Yes, sir.
I still maintain to be corrected, but I think and I know that it still remains the best. You know what? When you fog, the fog is converted to gas, okay? And the air will just carry it off. You know, if you notice that when you're fogging, you know, because it's a vitiated air, it goes up, it doesn't come down. So what it does is that it goes to the air, whatever insect that is flying or whatever, it will bring them down and knock them down, just like what Prof said. And that's what fogging does. So if you want to have a quick knockdown effect, you can use the fog, depending that the environment is suitable for that. I always emphasize that when you're using any pesticide application equipment, make sure that the environment you're going to use it is suitable for that equipment. Okay. Yes. Now, if you want to have a lasting effect as far as that outdoor is concerned, you must use your mist blower or your knapsack, because it will release that mist or the spray to the environment, and the environment will absorb it and it retains it there for a while. Even if it's a drainage, try as much as you can to position the nozzle of your mist blower or your knapsack to the point that is the entrance to that drainage. Pumping, you know, excessively, I tell you, whatever that is inside that drainage will come out. Then if you want to use your mist blower and your fogger, that can do in a kind of super treatment. But if you use only the fogger, I'm sorry, you may not get the desired results that you want. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a good addition to what I've been trying to say. Thank you, ma. Great. All right, so let's move on.
Okay, Sanitarian Obiora, thank you for that additional. I just want to take one more question. We have tons of people ready to ask questions. Part of this training is that we have a WhatsApp group that we're going to try to add everybody so that learning continues. You know, like the Prof said, he said he went to a school for IPM for 6 months. It's not something you can get in 30 minutes. So, but what we have done is that we always get a way to ensure that we always get this hands-on advice every day. In fact, on our Pest Control Forum is a place of professionalism where knowledge is passed every day, shared by professionals every day. So I know some of you that may still have questions may be able to answer those questions in the long run. This is just like a tip of the iceberg and give you some certain insight. You know, we can keep talking about this for a whole month, you know, for a whole month. I'm just going to give one more person an opportunity to ask a question. I think I should give James Ilori. James Ilori is from FUTA, I think. He's the head officer of Federal University of Technology. So let us give him the opportunity to ask his question and make his contribution. Thank you, Mr. James, Sanitarian James, for coming to this course. Can you unmute yourself and ask a question after we should go to the next course? Mr. James, are you there?
If he's not there, we can take Mr. Muhyiddin.
Can you hear me? I'm speaking.
Yeah, go on. We can hear you, sir.
You can hear me. The problem I have is with myself. It's giving me problem. I just want to find out concerning, can we have the notes? All this idea, and can we have handouts?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you
Yes, sir,
understand what I'm saying? I say, can we have the handouts on this thing?
Yes, it will be made available, sir.
Yeah, thank you. God bless you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So, the fortune, I want to crave your indulgence. Please, can we take Muhyiddin Abel Misikiro? That's the last, please.
Muhyiddin, can you ask a question? Let's have you so that you can get yours. Muhyiddin.
Go ahead, sir, Mr. Muhyiddin. The floor is yours. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I think Muhyiddin has been trying to ask questions even from the first class. I don't know, maybe his audio is not good.
Maybe you should type it now. We can't hear you. Your audio device is malfunctioning.
Because your mic is on and we can't just hear you.
It says audio device. Just type the question. All right.
Okay, you can type the question. Prof is still inside the course, even while we introduce now the next class.
Okay.
Thank you so very much, Prof. Chux. Thank you for bringing the wealth of experience, wealth of knowledge. You know what it takes to call somebody Prof. So I like, and sincerely, everybody in this class really enjoyed the flow, the deep insight. We wish it's like a 4-hour course.
Yes,
your course title is not what 60 minutes can do justice to. That's why I even allow for us to have this extra time. And I know we will always have opportunity to enlighten, to improve the technical capacities of practitioners in the industry, so that we can have an industry that we can all be proud of. There's some people on the street that just carry the DVP up and down. We're not going to bastardize the industry for all of us. That's the reason why training and retraining is very important. Even though when you think you have all the certification, Prof says something about you may be certified quack. So as much as the regulators are going to try to ensure they follow the due process to ensure you are qualified to be a practitioner, but indeed you have the responsibility to keep improving yourself. In fact, PECAN as an association now is going around, we're going to be doing a recertification process of some of its old members. You can imagine. That means you can say somebody can become an old PECAN member if you fail the recertification process. It's like a medical doctor. Like Prof said, your work is like a pharmacist, a doctor. You cannot misprescribe. That means if you don't keep, some of you say, I cannot register for a training, 10,000. Some of some of my guys on this call, they paid. They are here. You understand? So when you have opportunity for it, there's something new that you're going to pick. And imagine how many valuable thoughts I've picked myself, on this course, on this training today. And I really appreciate the facilitator for the effort for putting that together. We make available the slides on the group and for everyone to have enough time to enjoy it. Thank you, Prof, once again. Thank you for being there for us. God bless you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Now we're going to move to our third